an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The idea that he is trying to say that we have people that are trying to invade our country to commit mass crime is a crisis of his own making. I specialize in transnational criminal organizations. Yeah. That law ain't gonna stop them. No.
To the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggle enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization. He's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
Oh, Kamala Harris, the only thing you specialize in is how to talk shit out the side of your ass. Thank God, literally, thank God that we're not sitting here today with that laughing hyena in charge of anything, much less sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, standing it up. What an absolute nightmare that woman is. And what an absolute nightmare the last 4 years have been. But that's all changing now. Anyway, you had many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. Before we dive into tonight's show, we go out live on YouTube, on Rumble, on X, on LinkedIn. And if you're not following me on Rumble, I'd like to ask you to please do so. Also on X. If you're watching me tonight on LinkedIn or you're watching me tonight on YouTube, and that's the normal place that you watch me, please go to Rumble, please go to X. It's free. Sign up there and follow the Douglas Ducote Show on those two platforms. I'm saying that to say this: I'm about done with the Nazi son of a bitches over at YouTube. The only way to fix the censorship problem that YouTube has is for our Congress to get involved, which I'm actively calling for, and for someone like Elon Musk, some millionaire or billionaire, to step up and purchase this platform away from these Nazi wannabes so that we can lay this to rest. I can just say this much. Those that run YouTube need look no farther than what happened to the same Nazi son of a bitches that ran Twitter and Facebook. What goes around comes around. And in the event that that doesn't happen soon enough, then I will probably just voluntarily stop doing the live show on YouTube and strictly do it live on Rumble and on X, because I've about reached my limit with the stupidity, the ignorance, and the absolute hatred that those that run the YouTube platform have towards conservatives, Republicans, anyone that supported MAGA and Donald Trump. This has to change. YouTube is a stain on the United States of America, and it needs to be fixed. So please, if you haven't already done so, go to Rumble. It's free. It's just like YouTube. Make yourself an account there and follow the Douglas Ducote Show at that platform. If I can get enough of you to go over to Rumble, I promise you, I will never do this show live again on YouTube. I've just had enough of these Nazis. It's like Nazi Germany. If you go back and you look at the censorship of communism and the censorship of the Nazis, that's what that platform is. Against conservatives and Republicans. They will let liberals and they will let Democrats spew their hatred shit all day long. But those of us that try and put the facts out there, put the truth out there to patriots of this country, they're hell-bent on destroying us. Well, that's never going to happen because I have my own website, thedouglasducote.com. Go there if you haven't already done so. But also other platforms like Rumble, like X now, formerly Twitter, that do not censor conservatives, Republicans, and Trump supporters. Okay. So in the opening of tonight's show, you watched Kamala Harris talking about how it's all in Donald Trump's head, that there are no problems going on with our border. There's nobody coming over here that wants to do harm to you. Just like the rest of that Biden-Harris administration of lies, falsehoods, just absolute insanity of trying to make, and they managed to do it. There are a few people out there, a few million actually, that believe in their rhetoric. But that's all changing now. And now we're seeing what's really out there. Now that Donald Trump is back in charge, ICE has been cleared hot to do their job for the first time in 4 damn years. The arrests come as Trump administration moves rapidly to fulfill its promise to launch a historic mass deportation operation, which it has said will focus primarily on public safety threats first. Now, just focusing on that is going to take 4 years. Well, it's going to take probably 8 years, but there's no way. I mean, it's physically not possible for the mass deportation that Trump has promised he wants to do. It's going to take place with just illegal immigrants, because the amount of those that are criminals that are in this country and that have been arrested and then set free by liberal DAs and judges is massive. I'm talking on a scale like it's historical. There's no other country in the world that's faced with what we're faced with today. In the past 24 hours, ICE has made over 500 arrests of illegal immigrants with criminal histories that include sexual assault, domestic violence, rape, murder, child molesters, child pornography, child traffickers, gang members, drug traffickers, and those with weapons crimes. These criminals were all released by sanctuary cities, and all of them had ICE detainers that were not honored because of the sanctuary city policies. Let me stop there for just a second. I want you to think about this. What type of sick son of a bitch thinks it's okay to allow murderers, rapists, child molesters, gang members to be set out of jails into the community without having ICE detainers and allow them to continue to do harm to the community? You have to be one very sick and twisted son of a bitch to think that's okay. It's not, and your day's coming. Arrests took place across the U.S. in places to include Illinois, Utah, California, Minnesota, New York, Florida, and Maryland. Agents arrested nationals from a slew of countries, including, are you ready for this? Afghanistan, Iran, Angola, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Venezuela. These arrests also include what is known as collateral arrest. That's where ICE arrests an illegal alien who wasn't their initial target, but they're illegals that were hanging out with their original target. So therefore, they're picked up too. Patricia Hyde, ICE Field Office Director, said, "Today was a good day. Today we took several significant public safety threats out of our communities." And there will be more to come. In the tune of 5, 6, once we get this thing rolling good, 1,000 a day. And that won't even come close to touching the bigger numbers over the next 4 years. The Trump administration warned that any local leaders, including mayors, city council members, or state governors, who try to stifle mass deportation efforts would face arrest as the president and his team work to mitigate the surge of illegal immigration. Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller, warned any official trying to shield migrants from deportation will face criminal jeopardy for violating the law. Thank God. Something that I have been calling for years. Arrest them. That's how you stop this sanctuary city bullshit. Is you start putting these mayors and city council members and governors in jail for harboring illegal immigrants, and this shit will stop. It's the only way it's going to stop. The law is clear that harboring an illegal alien, smuggling an illegal alien, obstructing law enforcement, obstructing official proceedings, and a conspiracy to violate the rights of Americans. All of these and many more criminal statutes, the Homeland Security Advisor said. So, if these incidents that occur where a public official or elected individual engaged in violation of those criminal statutes, then I fully expect the Department of Justice will follow the letter of the law. Miller emphasized that no one is above the law, well, except for Democrats. He said not illegal immigrants and not anyone who may choose to illegally harbor illegal immigrants. The initial immigration raids have already arrested and removed some of the most vicious criminals in this country, including child pornography cases, homicide cases, sexual assault attacks on women and children, Miller said. This is just the very beginning in an effort to liberate this country from the illegal criminal threat. In the coming days, you're going to see a massive scale up in enforcement activities all across the country to dismantle this criminal network. Miller said ICE will be supported by law enforcement partners at the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, and U.S. Marshals. Border Czar Tom Hoffman Homan confirmed that deportation efforts began Tuesday, with officials prioritizing the worst first in order to restore public safety. With respect to sanctuary cities overall, they're going to be flooded by federal law enforcement to find and remove these criminal threats. The law of this nation is being restored by President Trump. Sovereignty of this nation is being restored by President Trump. And the cartels are being designated as terrorists, and they're going to be sent packing. Altman issued a stark warning yesterday to officials in blue cities and states resisting the Trump administration's mass deportation. Get in our way and you will go to jail. In just the past 24 hours, the cartel has killed another Border Patrol agent, and they also shot at but did not hit some American citizens that were hiking near the Rio Grande. And luckily, they weren't hit, but they tried to get them to stop. The cartel members tried to detain them. They managed to use their cell phones and call for help and get away from them. The cartel is getting bold. They're going to get bolder because now Donald Trump has designated the cartel as a terrorist organization. No different than ICE, the Taliban, all of those Muslim terrorist organizations. The cartel is now linked in there. As you've heard Tom Halpin say, the cartel is responsible for the deaths of more Americans than Muslim terrorists are. With that, Trump is activating National Guard members across the country to go on active duty status, as well as active duty service members to go to the southern border and help protect it. By labeling them as a terrorist organization, this will allow our law enforcement officers on that border and Customs and Border Patrol and National Guard members that get shot at on a weekly basis by the cartel to return fire. The rules of engagement are changing on our southern border. Now we're going to take the war to the enemy. Mexico can either get involved and help stop this shit, or our U.S. military will do it for them. House Homeland Security Committee Chairman Mark Green said Wednesday the national security blunders of the past 4 years have emboldened foreign terrorist organizations and homegrown violent extremists. The committee on Wednesday morning released an updated version of its terror threat snapshot assessment, highlighting threats posed by homegrown extremists inspired by foreign jihadist networks like ISIS in America and around the world. The update report comes less than a month after Texas native and U.S. military veteran Jabbar killed 14 civilians on January 1st when he drove a truck through crowds of New Year's revelers on Bourbon Street around 3 a.m. in what federal authorities described as an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack. The New Orleans terrorist attack was a stark reminder that the terror threat to America is alive and present, Green said. The House Homeland Security Committee highlighted this fact back in October. And sadly, Americans have witnessed major escalations in these threats just in the past 3 months. The report details more than 50 jihadist cases across 30 states between April 2021 and January 2025, including dozens of attempts to provide material support to ISIS providing material support to Hezbollah and Al-Qaeda, receiving military-type training from ISIS and Hezbollah, and vehicles ramming attacks. From the blotch Afghanistan withdrawal in August of 2021 to the New Orleans attack, the reports include a detailed list of all alarming terrorist-inspired attacks and arrests since former President Biden took office 4 years ago. Subcommittee on Counterterrorism and Intelligence Chairman August Piflug said Wednesday that Americans have been the target of terror in public celebrations, and ISIS and Al-Qaeda are emboldened in the Middle East, North America, and Southeast Asia. There is immense work to do to correct course and bolster our homeland security. That work has now begun. The committee also noted that vehicular ramming attacks like the one in New Orleans have emerged as a significant and growing threat to Americans. Multiple victims of the New Orleans attack have stepped up to sue the city for neglect, citing multiple incidents when the threat of terrorist attacks on Bourbon Street was mentioned in official city planning documents that have been released. One lawsuit filed on behalf of 7 victims by Morris Bart said the defendants had years of opportunities to fix this known problem, and city contractors failed to live up to their obligation and perform work in order to stop these attacks. One scenario presented by a contractor, Mott McDonald, 8 months before the tragedy, even involved a Ford F-150 truck, especially turning right onto Bourbon Street from Canal Street, and shocking similar threat that was seemingly predictable before December 31st. And if you think that's a coincidence, you're smoking Hunter Biden crack. Officials recommended for New Orleans security measures in the French Quarter as part of a $2.3 billion infrastructure project that began in 2017, including the installment of new barriers on Bourbon Street to prevent mass casualties events the FBI identified as a potential threat in the popular tourist area. The city began planning update security measures, including these barriers meant to stop vehicles from entering busy streets in the French Quarter around that time. The French Quarter is often densely packed with pedestrians and represents an area where mass casualty events could occur, a 2017 report states. This area also presents a risk and target area for terrorism that the FBI has identified as a concern that the city must address. Following the attacks in Nice, France, and London, England, and the recent New York Times Square incident that cited these barriers that could save lives, it has become clearer how popular tourist areas can be threatened by attackers with vehicles as weapons. A separate confidential 2019 report obtained by Fox News from security consulting firm Inferior International warned Bourbon Street was the most high-profile target in New Orleans for a terrorist attack. The 60-page security assessment commissioned by the French Quarter Management District states bluntly, the current system on Bourbon Street does not appear to work. The FBI continues to investigate the attack and said Jabbar was motivated by ICE extremists. Federal authorities announced last week that Jabbar had previously visited New Orleans on 2 occasions. Once October 30, 2024, and again November 10th of 2024. The attacker also visited Cairo, Egypt, and Toronto, Canada prior to the attack, the FBI said. While Jabbar apparently acted alone, authorities are still investigating whether he had any accomplices. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that they're going to find that he did. It's just a matter of time. American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, lawyer Chase Strango, appeared to employ a new term for adult human females. I'll repeat that. The ACU has a new term now for females. The trans right activist, who is also a transgender man, appeared on the left-wing digital news show Democracy Now! To slam President Donald Trump's executive order on sex and gender. He complained to show host Amy Goodman that Trump is targeting trans people by focusing on retrenching this notion of a fixed gender binary at the time of conception. While making the case, he referred to biological women as non-transgender women. That's right. The ACLU wants you to refer to women as non-transgender. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. This isn't even funny anymore. Trump's executive order titled Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremists and Restoring Biological Truth to the Federal Government clarifies that it is in the U.S. policy to recognize two sexes, male and female, and that men and women are biologically distinct, along with addressing how agencies should handle these directives. One part of the EO directs the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development to produce a policy that protects women seeking single-sex rape shelters and other intimate spaces, which the ACLU rejected. Their lawyer claimed this would, in essence, exclude trans people from various forms of shelter systems under the aspect that trans people are an inherent threat to non-transgender women. After refusing to call biological women women, Stanko added that this part of the order just enhances the risk that transgender people face in society. If we are deemed as a threat to others simply by existing, a clip of him calling women non-transgender women caught the attention of some on X, formerly Twitter, prompting conservative accounts like In Wokeness shared a clip with the caption, ACLU lawyer Chase Stango is panicking that Trump banned men from non-trans women's locker rooms. Conservative commentator Paul Sitzpaul blasted him in a Leafly post stating ACLU lawyer Chase Stango, a woman pretending to be a man, is mad that he's going to be arrested if he uses a men's bathroom in a federal building. She vents her anger by calling biological women non-transgender women. He continued, Chase can whine all she or he wants. That doesn't change the fact that she has 2 X chromosomes and is a woman. So either she stays out of the men's bathrooms or she goes to a woman's jail. Co-owner of Trending Politics, Colin Rugg, wrote, new transgender ACLU lawyer Chase Strango refers to biological women as non-transgender women while losing it over Trump's new executive orders. This voice catches me off guard every time. Life hack, you can save some time by simply referring to them as women, Rugg added. No, we're women, just women. There is no and no or situation here. Representative Nancy Mace, who has championed having single-sex facilities in the Capitol, added. Former NCAA swimmer and women's rights activist Riley Gaines commented on Rugg's post, stating non-transgender women is crazy. Laugh out loud. Look, I'll be the first person to tell you, if you don't know this already, that yes, there are only two genders, male and female. That being said, there are men who, because of their chromosome makeup, their hormones not getting, their body not producing testosterone, for instance, they identify as women, or they believe they're born in the wrong body, and vice versa. Okay, that exists. Don't attack the messenger. That's just fact. All right. And I know that to be fact. I know some people that, because of a screw up in their biological makeup, whether you want to blame it on God or you want to blame it on the mother or the father doing drugs, whatever, they came out as a baby, as either male or female, but their biological makeup was screwed up. The whole chromosome thing was fucking haywire. Those type people should not be treated as a sideshow. That exists. Okay? That's just a fact that a lot of people don't realize. Then there are people that are born, whether it's male or female, that are attracted to the same sex and not the opposite sex. Men that are attracted to other men and not women, and women that are attracted to other women and you know, and so forth, and not men. Call them gay, call them lesbian, and then there's those that are born, they're attracted to both sexes. Call them bisexual. Okay? That is all a part of human life. Okay? It exists on this earth. And then there are those that I call the clown posse, that dress up, men that dress up and drag queens. All right? Now, that's not a gender. That's, I don't even know what you want to call it. I've got plenty of things in my head that I'd like to say, but I will refrain from that for this point I'm trying to get across. This is what Republicans and conservatives would like to see happen. This is going to be a news flash to some of you out there, especially if you're liberal or you're Democrat watching what's fixing to come out of my mouth. Most of us, and I'd venture to say that 95 to 98% of conservatives and Republicans do not give two shits what you do behind closed doors or who you have sex with, as long as it's consensual and it's not illegal, such as sex with children. No, that's not okay. If you're a guy and you want to have sex with another guy, who gives a shit? If you're a woman who wants to have sex with other women, nobody cares. If you're a guy that wants to dress up as a circus clown, I don't care. Neither do most conservatives or Republicans. And if you're a straight person who likes to have sex with the opposite sex, have at it. Nobody cares. What we care about is when you push that agenda on the public, and especially our children, in story hours in schools with your pornography books that depict your sex acts, that's where we draw the line. And that's why this is all becoming a big shit show. And Donald Trump is going to fix that. So for the next 4 years, it's going to be put into a little box. Let me make it very clear. If you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, or straight, leave kids out of it. And don't push your agenda on anyone else. I'm not out there as a straight man pushing my agenda on how I feel about being straight on anyone else. And I'll be damned if I want to sit back and watch somebody else do it that's not straight. It's just human decency. Leave that shit in the bedroom with your partners. That's an adult, regardless of if you're straight, bi, gay, trans, whatever. But when you start pushing it on our children and pushing it into our school systems and our libraries, story hour with transsexuals that we've seen happening all over the country, that shit's not okay. And that's where we have a problem. And that's where we draw a line. And it's become so bad and so spread out across this country that now we have a president that's got to step up and do something to stop it. Should have never had to get to that. This should be something that's not on Donald Trump's radar because we're adults here. Mind your own damn business with your sexuality and keep it behind closed doors. And stop pushing your agenda on other people. But sadly, we have a lot of people that can't use common sense. And they continue to want to say and do stupid shit. And now we're in this debate. And I go back to what I originally was saying. You know, yeah, there are scientists or doctors that can identify what a woman is or what a man is. That's only because they want to be politically correct in this new atmosphere that we live in of ideology of everybody is equal and all that kind of bullshit. Okay. You're either born male or female. That is a chromosome fact. From that, there are many different things and ways that you can go. And I hold that against no one. I don't want anybody to hold it against me that I'm straight and that I like women. Nor am I going to hold it against a man who likes men or a man who likes to dress up as a drag queen. Go dress up as a drag queen in your own house or go to drag queen bars. There are places across the country where you can go to that are for drag queens or that are for gay people or lesbians. That's fine. Nobody cares. We care about when you try and push that shit on the rest of us. So it needs to come to a stop. And it's going to. Now, if Republicans don't maintain 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in the Senate and House, and Democrats get back in charge again, you're going to expect that this shit's just going to be wide open once again with straight people being put down as the minority. And We're not. That's the thing about it. We're not the minority. But we're expected to bend to everybody else's ideology that it's okay to do this shit out in public that they do. I talked the other day about what's happening in San Francisco, and in New York. Not as bad as San Francisco, but there are other places that do this once a year, the LGBTQ Pride Parade. If they did what they do in San Francisco during the day, in the street, in front of anyone that's there, and there are thousands of people, tourists all the time in San Francisco with their kids, if they did that anywhere else, they would be arrested. But they're allowed to do it on that one day, wide open, men blowing men in the street, women doing the same thing, BDSM activity right there in front of kids, flogging each other, whipping each other, all this crazy shit that should be done in the bedroom on full display. And that is sickening. I don't care what you do behind closed doors. But when you take it out into public, whether it's straight sex or gay sex or trans sex or lesbian sex or whatever it is, you're wrong. Keep the shit behind closed doors with consenting adults and not out in public, and definitely not around our children. Ex-CIA Director John Brennan, one of the most anti-American people that exist, in my mind, claimed that President Donald Trump had misrepresented the facts on the Hunter Biden laptop story after his security clearance was revoked by Trump on Tuesday. That's right. Brennan had his security clearance stripped. By executive order, Trump revoked the security clearance of 51 former intelligence officials who signed a 2020 letter claiming that the release of the emails from the laptop had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. Many of them were open supporters at the time of Joe Biden's presidential campaign against Trump, especially John Brennan. The signatories said in the letter they did not know if the emails are genuine or not, and that we do not have evidence of Russian involvement. Just that of experience makes us deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case. Basically, they were saying that the Hunter laptop was Russian disinformation and it wasn't factual. And they knew damn good and well that was a lie. Burnham, who was among the signers, called the executive order bizarre and claimed Trump distorted the letter. Those that signed the letter falsely suggested that the news story was part of a Russian disinformation campaign. Trump's executive order said of the former intelligence officials who engaged in misleading and inappropriate political coordination with the 2020 Biden presidential campaign. He misrepresented the facts in the executive order because it says that we had suggested that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation, Burnham said Tuesday on MSNBC. The only people that will give that lying son of a bitch, anti-American that he is, a platform. No, we said it was all the hallmarks of Russian information operations, including the dumping of accurate information, which is what we said in that letter. So again, this was just, his effort to try to get back at those individuals who have criticized him openly and publicly in the past. And I think very legitimately, he said. Other officials named in the EO included former Director of Intelligence James Clapper, former CIA Director Michael Hayden, former Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta, and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. 3 days after the letter was made public, Biden used it as a talking point in the final 2020 presidential debate to rebut criticism that was made by Trump in that debate. He said, there are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan, Biden said during the debate. Remember that? In 2023, it was reported that the Department of Justice had known since December 2019 that the Hunter Biden laptop contained reliable evidence and was not manipulated in any way. Brennan said that Trump had previously announced that he would revoke his security clearance in 2018, but his clearance at that time was not taken away. The only reason why I still have a security clearance, as I have for the past number of years since I left the government service, was the benefit of the government. So that if the CIA or the other government agencies wanted to call me in to discuss classified matter, that I could do that. He added, and so it was really for those government benefits. It was to facilitate those classified discussions with myself, as well as former directors, as well as former members of the intelligence community that had the same clearances. Burnham has appeared regularly on MSNBC as a senior national security analyst and is one of Trump's harshest critics. In a February 2024 appearance on the MSNBC show, Brenham claimed that Russia is using Republican politicians as tools. For those of you that follow this show on a regular basis, you watch me right here read that letter to you. No, John, Trump didn't misinterpret what the letter said. You no good son of a bitches got together for the sole purpose of trashing Donald Trump to support Biden in his election to become president by saying that because of our being intelligence officials with the CIA and all that crap, that we know better. And we know that it was Russian disinformation and it wasn't true. They tried to say the entire Hunter Biden laptop was a made-up myth in Republicans' heads, and it didn't exist. And that the things that were being leaked out and the emails and the pictures were all manufactured by Republicans that were just out to hurt Joe Biden. And of course, now we know that that's not the case at all. And now we know that Joe Biden gave Hunter a pardon, a full pardon, for all the crimes he committed. Well, what goes around comes around. And you, no good anti-American son of a bitches, lost your security clearances, which is what should have happened a long damn time ago. But you were on the payroll for the Bidens, just like you're on the payroll for the Clintons. And your days of relevance is numbered. Because, newsflash, MSNBC has the worst ratings of any cable news network on planet Earth. There are children's programs on Nickelodeon that have more viewership than MSNBC does. So in the near future, MSNBC will go out of business. Mark my words, in this next 4 years, MSNBC will not exist. They've already had their chief CEO step down. They're already laying off people. They're trying to switch up their whole format. They can't understand why nobody tunes in to watch Rachel Maddow anymore, or any of the other idiots, Chris Hayes, all those freaking morons that are on their programs. And people like John Brennan are going to have no place to spew their nonsense. None. Even CNN won't allow you to come on and do that. So what goes around comes around. Today you lost your security clearance. Tomorrow you're going to lose your fucking platform to spew your bullshit. And we, the American people, the ones that stepped up last Monday and took back all three branches of government and helped Donald Trump win not only the Electoral College, but the popular vote, see right through your bullshit. And we're not going to stand back and take it anymore. Go away. Purge yourself of your hatred towards us, we the people. We're laughing. Karma is kicking every one of you in the ass, as well as the far left and as well as the Democrats up in Washington, D.C. You had many places you could be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. Whether you're watching me tonight live on YouTube or Rumble or X or LinkedIn, subscribe to the channel. As I told you in the beginning of tonight's show, if you have not already done so, please go sign up at Rumble, make yourself an account there, and follow the Douglas Ducote Show on Rumble, because the day will come. And I know, look, I get it. I've been saying this for a while, and I'm still saying it. The day will come that I'm no longer going to be on YouTube. Promise me, or I promise you, that's going to happen. And one day you're going to go tune into the show if you watch it on YouTube only, and you're going to go, where the fuck did it go? It went to Rumble. It went to X, formerly Twitter. Because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of these Nazi freaks that try and control American patriots. And I hope and I pray that karma comes their way. And this administration and these members of Congress do something to put YouTube in check once and for all. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. If something changes between now and next Tuesday, I will either do a live program about it or I will put out a video if it's something of major importance to American patriots. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a wonderful night. Please be safe. And remember, ICE is out there doing their best to keep us safe, as well as the Border Patrol, as well as our military, as well as our law enforcement across this nation. And they know, and now you know, that there are evil people in America, even terrorist cells, waiting to kill me and you. So don't let your guard down. Be safe, watch your six, and protect your family. Godspeed, everyone. Have a wonderful and blessed night. Bye.